This is the Brilliantly Branded podcast, a safe place to have a voice and talk about branding and all the reasons that bring a brand to be brilliantly branded. I am your host, Maria Lucia Romero, a woman empowering other women, and I am welcoming you to this journey of learning and inspiration to build awareness around the world of business and the world of brands. This is the Brilliantly Branded podcast. Our episode today is all about sustainable fashion and empowering women. In this inspiring interview, we had the pleasure of sitting down with Aurore Brassinne, the creator behind the sustainable clothing brand Aurore Being. In this episode, you will discover how her childhood connections to nature led to the creation of a brand that beautifully merged fashion and sustainability. We explore the philosophy of the 5 R's: reuse, repair, resell, remanufacture, and recycle, and why it is essential for a circular fashion economy that reduces waste and support the environment. As well, we also discuss Aurore's unique approach to model casting, where everyday individuals become fashion stars, making the brand more approachable and natural. Plus, find out how you can contribute to a more sustainable fashion footprint as an individual. So after our conversation, you will be inspired to embrace sustainable fashion choices, understand the importance of circularity, and join our mission of sisterhood, encouraging women to shine. So don't miss this episode. And it is a journey towards a brighter, more sustainable fashion future. So, one more time, welcome to the Brilliantly Branded podcast. So, welcome today to the Brilliantly Branded podcast. Our guest today is the creator of a brand in the fashion world. She's made a tribute to the Mother Earth by the creation of a sustainable women's wear fashion brand that took my attention and make this brand very different and special. And that's the reason why I invite today Aurore. So Aurore, I want you to give you a warm welcome and actually let you introduce yourself, please.
All right, thank you so much for having me. And so I'm Aurore, and I'm the founder of the fashion brand Aurore Being. So it's a slow fashion brand for women, and that just launched this year. And it's Luxembourg based, and we really in our communication, we really want to highlight that we pay tribute to Mother Earth, like you said, to nature, and also we like to celebrate women and humanity. So celebrate women and humanity means all the people who made the clothes, but also those who wear them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful introduction. Thank you, Aurore, very much, because all the things that you just said are very aligning with our purpose, even in the podcast. You know, all the things related with how, as a women, we have this power to do many things, to create many things that really make an impact. And as a part of the questions that I want to do to you is, you are mixing this fashion and sustainability. So I have been research about your life, your past, all the things that bringing you to create that brand. But I want to ask you how this passion for fashion and well-being, of course, led the creation to this brand and with this higher purpose. Can you explain that a little bit to us, please?
Yeah, so I have always been a creative person, so I always knew I would do something in the creative world, and fashion has always been also a part of me. And so I decided to study fashion design, but even before that, I was debating if I should or not, because I knew and I got aware that the fashion industry is one of the most polluting in the world. So I was not sure if I wanted to contribute to that, and I remember very well the time I discussed that decision with my dad, and he told me, well, you can also be someone who makes a change in that industry. So I always decided, yeah, I just make like a promise with myself that once, if I ever create a fashion brand, it would be with strong sustainability values and um with, yeah, as close as like all the criteria that I can talk about later, that they should be fulfilled, or at least do my best with all the resources that I have at hand. So this is how I think, yeah, it got to emerge, this that this strong purpose is really about my love for and respect for nature and everybody, also
Hmm.
like all the human beings. It's, I think it also comes from yoga. I am a big yoga passionate and dance lover, and like I have a lot of other hobbies and passions on top of like fashion. And yeah, yoga, the philosophy is also around nonviolence and peace and love and respect. So I think that also shaped me. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned something very key in the process, and is how your beliefs have been shaping the brand that you put out to the world. So,
Mm-hmm.
part of the things that you have been established as a philosophy in my research about your brand is you are talking about the 5 R's
Mm-hmm.
and embrace this circular fashion. So,
Mm-hmm.
can you share the story behind this? Well, there's two things. One is the brand name, and how this philosophy about the 5 R's drive your sustainability practices.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's start with the brand name you said.
Fantastic. Yes, please.
So Aurore Being is actually a mix of my first name, Aurore, and Being, which stands for human being, but also well-being.
Mm-hmm.
So I mixed those two together, and it's also an invitation to the world to um, maybe change our way as well of being. And it's we are so we it's just like an invitation also to embody the values of our being, so my values. um and yeah, it's really like um also an invitation to come together and to mm,
To
yeah,
make a better world.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fantastic.
and that's in the simple way, that's how that's what it is.
Correct.
And so the 5 R's, these are actually, the R's stand for different words. So it's about reducing, about refusing certain things, about reusing simply what we have, minimizing our consumption, and then also in the fashion industry, repurposing as well. So it can be upcycling um, and recycling as well. So upcycling, just to explain for those who don't know, is basically repurposing maybe old clothes or textiles and recreating new, maybe more fashionable clothes with these um, materials that already exist in this world, without producing something again from scratch with new cotton or polyester and all of that virgin material. So it's repurposing waste also.
Okay.
And yeah, so the 5 R's, they have this really big importance as well, yeah, in my brand. And there's a lot. When you create a slow fashion brand, there's so many things that I would like to fit into. And it's, if I would just create a normal fashion brand, it would be so easy. I wouldn't have to care about so many things. But in this
Yeah.
case, yeah, there is more to it, and more reflections are in the in the background. And the 5 R's, yeah, are, and the circular economy. So circular fashion,
Yeah.
meaning that we keep the clothes in a cycle. It can be a cycle of reusing. So, for example, also even reselling or donating and things like that can count there, but also recycling, like we said, and upcycling. But also in the sense of circular, it can be natural fibers that are actually biodegradable, because everything that we consume, that we wear, is actually coming from the ground somewhere, from the earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when you're circular, you can also bring the cycle back inside of the earth, so as waste. But that doesn't work, for example, for polyester, because it's not biodegradable, and it will take years and years and years. Like, it's crazy, the numbers. I think everybody has seen some numbers with plastic bottles and how long it takes to actually degrade. So
The great.
that's
Yeah.
something important in my brand as well. So that's why I only use natural fibers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's a big topic, as
Mm-hmm.
you well know, and we
Yeah.
all know. All the things related with fashion and sustainability, and actually putting a purpose to the brand, and all the things that you just have explained to us, is the reason why I found this
Mm-hmm.
brand brilliantly branded. Is when you put a purpose in a brand and you want to do something different, as you will
Mm-hmm.
say. I mean, doing a brand that, building a fashion brand, it will be probably easier than doing a brand with a purpose, and especially the purpose of the 5 R's that I found this, for example, repurposing, or the other one that you said, when how you use a piece and do a different, have a
Exactly.
different use. Exactly, this is for me something very
Mm-hmm.
challenging, because you need to be very creative actually,
Yeah.
to know how to combine, to know how to use it. And I think that the products that you are putting in the market are allowing you to do that. And I know that
Mm-hmm.
because I have been seeing how you have been showing that even in
Mm-hmm.
your social media channels, actually educating people to do something with the pieces that you are putting out in the
Mm-hmm.
market. So that I found that very, very brilliant. And part of the things that I wanted to ask you as well too is, um, another thing that took my attention is that you wanted to connect it with the normal life, in the sense that you haven't chosen non-professional models for just bringing
Mm-hmm.
people for everyday life. And I found that amazing and beautiful, and catch my attention again, because these make your brand even more approachable, more close to the people that, well, is I can use that, I feel identified with that. So how did you include that as a part of your vision, and to do the impact in this fashion industry?
Yeah. I think, honestly, for me, it was just natural to do it this way. Because I feel like there's just so many different women on Earth, and I didn't want to have only typical models modeling for my brand. And I didn't want to be the whole face of the brand either. Like, I'm so, like, small and skinny and all. I'm not representative of all the women. So, and I love, like, how I brought together all of these women. Some are friends of mine, and some I met for the shooting. So I just did a call for models on social media, and I got so many. It was also quite last minute, because with the production, everything was so tight, and then I didn't yet ask for volunteers yet for the shooting. I wasn't sure of the date and everything, and then I was like, oh my God, what if I don't have anybody for my photo shoot? What if I don't have
Yeah,
any models? And I got so many like
spontaneous
mhm,
friends.
spontaneous, like, yeah, people who wanted to be part of the project, and who loved the essence, the philosophy, the values, all of it, right? The
Correct.
energy. And I feel like it's amazing how these beautiful women, like, came together, and we really, like, naturally, they were blondes and brown brunettes, and fair skinned and black skinned, like, and like, it's amazing for me. Like, it just came, like, it's representative of even, like, the country Luxembourg, and the
Yeah,
people around me. That's how, for me, it's so natural. And I really wanted to show different shapes in all sizes, because in some brands you only see one model with one size, and I wanted to show all sizes and shapes and heights, and how the world is, basically.
correct.
So yeah, so for me this is really important, because it's the brand is also part of a some sort of, like, a self love mission as well. and showing that we can all be a sisterhood together, all women, instead of competition, and accept all of us,
I love
yeah.
that. Can you repeat that? I mean, this is part of actually of the things that I have been speaking with each of my guests, and having that solidarity, I think is the right word, but
Mhm.
sometimes
Yeah.
I'm struggling pronouncing it, and it is beautiful what you say. Would you mind to repeat that, Aurore?
Um, I think I said to be a sisterhood instead of
Yeah.
competition,
Yeah,
right?
correct. Yeah. How important is that?
Yeah.
It's incredible how important is that. I
Hmm.
love that. It's true. I mean, and what you are doing is not just a brand. Actually, is all the concept behind that
Mm.
is making the brand. Because as you well know, the brand is not what you build out. The brand is what the people perceive about your brand.
Mm.
And what I have been perceiving in this side is have been connected with all the things that you want to project. So this is already a super win for your brand. I mean, I know that you are starting, but if you are starting in this way, can you imagine how the next steps will be?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. I think it's beautiful. And part of the things that brands included is all the process of production, but as well the packaging. So we're talking about the materials, and I will love you to talk us a little bit about those materials and as well the packaging.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the materials of the clothes,
Yes.
they are made out of a modal and cashmere blend. So basically, modal is wood cellulose, but also like known as viscose. But viscose can also be debatable in the fashion industry, like about sustainability. But this one is an Austrian brand, Lensing, and which is actually the forests are eco-managed, and so it's a sustainable version of modal. So it's called Eco Vero, and
Oh, wow. This is
yeah.
new for me. It's
Hmm.
completely new for me.
Yeah. And so it's a very soft fabric, by the way. That's like usually the selling point, when people try it on, like, oh my God, it's so soft and comfortable. Because that's a big point as well of the brand, is to make comfortable clothing.
Yeah.
And the production is also made in France in a small atelier. And so it's the shortest secret I could have between the manufacturer and myself and the client, right?
Yeah.
And so they share also my values, and they also have a training program for people and also refugees who work in the atelier,
Mm.
who make the clothes.
Mm.
And then, yeah, when it comes here, and actually most of the sales I have been doing were during pop-up stores in one-on-one in the
Yeah.
studio or outside. But when I send the clothes in the packaging, it's all made of recycled cardboard, paper, and it's stamped with soy-based inks. So there's also no chemicals.
Mm.
Same with the material, by the way, of the clothes. It's Oecotex certified. So Oecotex certifications assure you that there is no toxic chemicals in the colored dyes,
Yes.
and also with the water waste and management and stuff like that.
I have a
Yeah.
question there, and
Mm-hmm.
is those colors are limited because
Mm.
I know it's a question if that colors needs to be limited, because I saw that you have like a palette color for your clothes in general, but I don't know if this is that related with the fact that the inks are not I don't know. Can you explain this to us?
Yeah. No, actually, this was a personal choice, to have timeless colors, but as a first collection, because in the future there will be other colors,
Mm-hmm.
um, for next year. But basically, you can also have other colors, but still that are still not using, toxic chemicals.
Okay,
And
fantastic.
this Eco-Tech certification is also well known for maybe like more like a baby wear, where for kids, usually
Okay.
it's always certified because people
Safe.
are more, caring about their kids' child like health than
Yeah.
our own sometimes. But it's just as important, yeah, to not have
Yeah,
these chemicals.
part of the things now is we as a consumers are really doing the research about all these things, and actually how that is affecting our health, and how that is having all these chemicals, and how we can add value, doing something related to the arts that you mentioned before. And actually part of the things is we as an individuals probably needs a lot of education related with that, but how do you think that we can really contribute to a better and more circular fashion
Hmm.
economy? Because is we have all these doubts. I'm doing this, but then I'm going and buy things that is not going to really do something and impactful on that. So if you can share with us what are the best way, that will be fantastic.
Yeah, there's so many ways, honestly, and everybody can do it at their own scale. That's something very important that I also want to transmit, is that you don't have to be super also rich to be wearing sustainable clothing, because that's something that comes up a lot about pricing of sustainable brands. But
Pricing.
it starts by one thing. It starts by reducing the for people who buy a lot of clothing, maybe think a little bit more before you buy something.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need it? Do I really want it? Is it a coup de coeur? I love it. Will I wear it with different things? Can I wear it in different ways? Is it just for one occasion? Maybe then I can rent something. Or is it for, every day? And then when you go and buy clothes, I would recommend to check the brand. Um, about their values. Check the fabrics. What is it made of? I That's a personal thing I recommend as a sustainable practice, is to prioritize natural mm,
Mm-hmm.
fibers. But I know that synthetics, especially in the outdoors or sports, are very common. So for functional reasons, sometimes you have to, for a rain jacket, for example.
Exactly.
But yeah, so there's this. So make your research, look at the things,
Mm-hmm.
inform yourself first.
Yeah.
And if you can't afford maybe some of the sustainable fashion brands, then go thrifting. Maybe make yourself known that you're looking for a certain item, and maybe some people are going to bring stuff to you as well. I mean, I know, like, sometimes friends or family, they suggest, oh, I have this, do you like it, do you want it, and
Yeah.
you're gonna get that when you start talking about it, and then you can swap, you can do things like this too. And you can go into secondhand stores. There's also online shops, Vinted, which
Yeah.
does that really well. um, so there is many ways to contribute in your own way and your own level, and I think it's about priorities. And I when I t sometimes when even to clients, sometimes I say in when I'm one-on-one like that, in advising people and talking about my brand, and somebody says, "Oh my God, it's so expensive. I can't,
Afford that. Yeah.
afford it." And I'm like, yeah, okay, I understand. And I'm also going to work on that for next year, maybe to have more affordable prices. But with Made in France and this quality, it's just difficult
I
to
can
make it
imagine.
cheaper. But a lot of people, when I say it's about priorities, they're like, yeah, but not everybody has this luxury to have priorities like that. But still, it's about priorities, and you can still have that as your mindset and your promise to yourself to be mindful.
Yeah.
And you don't have to buy these expensive things, but you can avoid buying the €5 t-shirt at H&M or Shein and all those fast fashion brands. You can at
Hmm.
least do that, you know.
Wow. Wow. This is a
So
strong message. I think
yeah.
that that you said is a strong message,
It,
because
mhm.
we all end up doing the same. Is
It's not easy, and I know it. As a student, I made this promise to myself, and I was like that before. I was
Mhm.
shopping at Zara. Mostly, I was like a lot of a Zara shopper, but it's also fast fashion, and I made that promise to myself. And as a student, yes, I could not afford so many things, so I had to wait for 2, 3, 4, 5 months sometimes before I could buy that one thing that I knew was super good quality, that was sustainable, like a Patagonia jacket, for example. I
Yeah,
waited for a long time, or I saved like with birthdays, or Christmas, like things like that, where I gathered money together to just for that. So
yeah,
it's something. I know you have to be patient, maybe more in some cases, or you have to be yeah, like it's a different way of being and consuming, and a lot of people are not used to it, but it's possible at all levels, in my opinion. Yeah.
yeah. I think you are completely right. And the thing is how these big brands that you just mentioned are overproducing. And
Mm-hmm.
the topic with the overproduction is something that we are overwhelmed with all these possibilities, new collections. I mean, I don't know how frequent they change the collections, but I see all the time different, different, different. Like when you wanted to buy something, even is okay, no, this is now is the new collection and this is part of the previous one. And all this overproduction, I think, is very significant issue in the fashion industry. So how do you, well, you
Mm-hmm.
have been explaining that you do that in the atelier, you do, I guess, the quantities of that. I mean, how you calculate that, and how you prioritize this slow fashion with limited production, because I guess you are doing this limited production. But how do you normally manage that?
Yeah, so for me, as a small business, obviously I don't have huge quantities yet. Um, anyways, but and it was actually even quite tough to find someone who would do those small quantities, because
Mm.
a lot of manufacturers, they don't do such small quantities. For me, it's already a lot, but it's small for the industry.
Can imagine, yeah.
Um, so for me, even later on, when I grow, I hope so, the brand, I want to keep it lower, and even my aiming for sold out um states, So only when actually the ideal scenario, it's even pre-order.
Okay.
Pre-order is when basically people order first. So there's a campaign for a few weeks and people can order in a certain timeline. And then only when you gather all these orders together, then the production begins.
Mhm.
So you only produce what people actually want and are going to receive.
Wow, that
And
that have
that
been working for you?
Not for I haven't done that yet,
Okay.
because it wasn't possible with the atelier. And as a starting business, I wanted to first show a little bit of the identity and see how it goes. But it's a goal of mine. But again, there's always challenges, because the other project of mine, I'm deviating a little bit, but it's upcycling as well. And in that case, it's also like you have limited um resources in that case, and you have to function in a different way with upcycling. And I don't know if it's possible fully to do pre-order, and I will see how that goes with some manufacturers, also with the timelines. How long are clients even willing to wait for their garment?
Exactly,
Because it's not
especially
gonna
now.
arrive like in
Yeah,
the next day. You have to wait. I know some brands who do that, and I have been a client of pre-order brands, and I am willing to wait, but a lot of people are not. So that's
yeah.
again something. Yeah, but for quantities, yeah, that's basically the future. I think would of sustainable fashion would be that, to be
Mhm.
really. to not have these waste, the stock, the stock that you have and that you don't sell. Maybe so many people want that color but not that one, or maybe so many people in that size buy this style but not in the other size. This
Yeah.
is something it's so difficult to know in advance, and if you do pre-order, you can have this balance just by the system. Yeah.
Yeah, but actually that will be part of something that enhance your brand even more. I mean, if you do this pre-selling as a part of, the concept of sustainability, the concept of really less consumption, let's say that, and the order in order to really build up that sustainability as a fact, not just producing and sending and producing and sending, that would really I really support that
Mm-hmm.
idea. This
Mm-hmm.
is something that really, for me, will work very good. It's true that we are in a society where we were just everything in a sound of fingers, like now, we want that now. But having something that you want and probably waiting for it, but waiting to receive something that will really stay for longer and best quality and the softness and all these characteristics that you have been described, I think that I will be ready for that step. I mean, as a part of the education, as a part of really contribute, as a part of give something to all these sustainability things that we are not really having the conscience as well in all the
Mm-hmm.
things that we are doing. But part of the other questions that I wanted to ask you, because you have been wearing many hats, as an entrepreneur, as
Mm-hmm.
a creator, even as a model, because I have been seeing you showing the clothes, showing how you can repurpose the clothes and all these kind of things. But actually, how do you ensure that each of that pieces that you design have this deep connection with the sustainability, talking more about the design of the pieces?
Yeah. So for this year's collection, the design was a lot about also timelessness, but with a little something extra, let's say. Because I do have the simple t-shirts, but
Mm-hmm.
I also have some that have a little twist with these ruchings here, a t-shirt, a little cropped. Even the ones that I'm wearing here, the iris top, you can have different, you can have that, as a normal. Um, you can cross in the front or in the back, basically. You can,
Exactly.
actually, it was designed really to have something that is still basic, but that has something, just extra touch. Even with just the fabric, it does it all. It's different than your basic t-shirt. You don't have that in your
Yeah,
closet yet. I
exactly.
mean, I don't think anybody has that yet. So if you want a soft t-shirt, order it now.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, so and the design, that's basically the guiding line, but I have also the Gaia gilet, which is even more like complex and sophisticated. So I like to I created some sort of pattern with just fabric because of the ruching. So it has something extra. You have to check out the website to see what I mean. Um, but yeah, so it's really about minimalism and sophistication at the same time.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and creating these textures, and yeah, that's the guiding line. Actually, textures are a lot are really something I think as a fashion designer, if I can say, is the essence that will always be there, like the texture and the feeling of the fabric. Mm.
Wow, and this is something, because all those details, the small details, is what make that really special, and all those things that you use in the process of design and put it out a product that the world wanted to use and have all these qualities is something very valuable. And I just wanted to say thank you, Aurore, because all the things that you have been sharing with us today have a lot of value. Is actually a certain way to educate ourselves about how we can become better with all this sustainability and make something for that. And just to wrap up and looking ahead, about what are the things that are coming, what are the vision that you have in the future for your brand. Can you share with us a little bit more about what are these next steps or this future for your brand right now?
Sure. So next year, there's going to be probably a lot of new things. It's still in progress, the whole designing of the collections. So I'm working on the spring summer 2024 collection, and I have a few directions set out, but I have a survey planned that I'm gonna send to all of my followers, and I'm gonna ask them to share them with all of the women they know, to actually gather some information on what the women want that I'm gonna create for, and also to see if what I have in mind, if it resonates with them. And so that's something that's going to confirm certain things or maybe make me shift in other directions. So there is going to be quite exciting stuff, combining a little bit of upcycling with still some other with virgin materials or even dead stock materials. So dead stock is materials that it's fabric end of rolls of fabric rolls that some brands don't use anymore and they resell them to other
Okay.
brands.
Wow, interesting.
So yeah, even luxury brands do that. They resell it to other smaller brands, and
Yeah.
then you can reuse them and make smaller batch collection.
Wow.
So that's for next year. That's the vision, and I'm not gonna reveal too much, right?
You don't need to, no worries.
Yeah.
It's just I was a little bit curious that I
Yeah.
share whatever you want to share.
Yeah. But for basically for the long-term vision of the brand, I have I actually it's a dream. I don't know if it will ever come to reality, but I would love to have like a whole space that's dedicated to the brand Aurore Being. I don't have a store yet or anything. So it would
Not
be a
yet.
space, not yet. So it would be a space where you have a clothing store, but you also have a cafe where you can hang out, when you can enjoy time together. But you would also have a cozier space where it's a big thing. It's really about community.
Community,
I
correct.
want to bring more of that and experiences as well, and not only the fashion product. And about that, actually, one thing that I can reveal is even this year, I'm gonna in the fall, I'm gonna announce some services. So, because I have already been contacted from some stylist jobs as well in the slow fashion world. So, I want to announce some services where I can assist people in their slow fashion journey. It can mean just giving them a crash course about slow fashion and giving all the tips and answering all questions and stuff like that. Helping, it can be maybe someone needs a wedding dress or needs some sportswear outfit for a certain occasion. I don't know. There may be teachers or like dancers, professional dancers, something, and they have their values, but they don't know where to go and shop. They don't know the brands maybe, so they can come to me, and because I know so many brands, I'm always like, but there's so many amazing brands out there. Just go look.
Yeah.
And so to help them out and to make their research easier, I can tell them, oh, you need this. Here are
Yes.
3-4 brands, and check this and this and this article there. There's this, and the last would also be wardrobe audits. So that means we all have a closet full of clothes, but we may wear only like half of it or not even.
Yes.
And so it could be to help a bit like Marie Kondo style, where I
Yes.
go in the house and I help them sort the things out and really see, okay, what do I really love? What do I really wear? But also new other things, old things. How can I find new ways to wear them? Maybe, I have that often in my closet. I have clothes there that I suddenly I take it out again. I'm like, oh, let's try this, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I love it now
Yes.
because I changed the way that I wear it. And so help them out with this and maybe add some pieces, some key pieces that might enhance and their styling every day, and so yeah, all of that, these services, I'm gonna launch, and I will see if people are interested, because I have had people who tell me about, oh, I want to do this, I just never do it, or lots of people came to me with such issues and problematics,
Yes.
and I'm gonna see if um my help there is gonna be yeah, solicited. So yeah.
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you for sharing that, because actually what you describe is an entire system. And when we have a brand and we know how to create a system that resonate to really put it, doing the brand appear to the world, that really make a brand special, and that really make connect and build this community that you wanted to build, that actually you are already on the way to just growing that community. So I want to congratulate you, Aurore, because
Mm.
the work that you are doing is amazing. Your brand is very well thinked, have a purpose, have a why, a reason to exist. I mean, have all these ingredients that really, myself as a future user of your brand, and I say future user because I'm going to apply to the one that is pre-order already. But it is something that connect the dots when you are going to build a brand and put it out to the world. So I just wanted to say thank you for sharing the story, for share all these principles, all these educational, because these end up being something that I have been learning a lot, many things that I can start to practice and put it out and make that come into the reality, my adding value to something that really is having a big impact in our daily lives. So thank you, Aurore, for being here. I don't know if you want to add something else to our listeners. Part of the things that I can offer to you later on, of course, is my community and the Brilliantly Branded podcast is growing too. So it's mostly all of my guests have been women, mostly. And we can share all the things that you need, your service, all the things to, let's see how that, because actually what I am building as well is a community where we are all helping together. And count of that in your process. And if you want to add something else or say something else.
Oh, yeah. On what note? Yeah, I could just finish by saying how grateful I am, honestly, for all the people, for you, for all the people who contact me, who support me, and because it's such an adventure and a journey. And as an entrepreneur, there's always ups and downs and doubts and insecurities. And so yeah, there's the vision is really what drives me, and the everything that we talked about. And so I'm really glad I was able to share that, because that's what I love the most, honestly, about the whole journey. It's about sharing with people, like, really directly.
Yeah, well, thank you. And thank you for being an inspiration and have this nice energy that really is printing something nice around. And I know that all our listeners are going to be very happy to know all the details and to listen into this episode. So thank you very much, Aurore, and wishing you all the best, and count with our support to put it a more nice energy to your brand. Thank you very much, Aurore.
Thank you so much. Bye, see you soon.
We hope you have been inspired by this content and join us for future episodes of the Brilliantly Branded podcast. We will continue exploring the power of branding and the stories behind successful brands. And remember, if you know a woman who has built a successful brand with a unique approach and a story to share, please refer them to our podcast. We would love to learn from their experiences and share their story with our listeners. Stay tuned for more episodes of Brilliantly Branded, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, on our YouTube channel for more branding insights and women empowerment. Until the next episode, ciao ciao.